You ever notice how a bowl of Honey Nut Cheerios, sometimes you're totally done before the bowl is? Hey dude, it's the morning. About 8:30 to be exact, which is a very late start. That's no good because today, like every day, we're in a hurry to get going. Tuesday's always a bit of a jumble. There's no one good spot to go for me that I've found yet. So there's a bunch of little spots that I like to stack together, and generally that can turn into alright day. There's no time for frittering about though. Well, that reminds me, I would love an apple fritter right about now. But here we have our first stop. Another garbage room. Yeah, I like these things. So here is why we're here. Alright, hey, what is this? Nice. Janis Joplin, Meatloaf, ELO, Leonard Cohen, AC/DC. Yeah, we'll take that for sure. Whatever. All right. Empty this out and get out of here. Not too bad for a start. It's good to start the day with an easy win. That's, $10. Bag's about 20 to 40 depending on what's in it, but that's full of wine bottles. So yeah, now there is another better section that we've really got to hurry off to because if we're not swift we might miss it. So let's hustle. All right, we're here. Man, these hills are a lot of work. Now this camera here is very much not what I had in mind, but I forgot the mounting plate for the little one, so we're just gonna have to see how this goes. Alright, well, so far this is just a lot of glass bottles, which in a ritzy looking neighborhood like this, I'm not really surprised. I'm just gonna have to stash them somewhere because there is no way. Alright, there's one way, but I don't want to work that hard. This is so weird, being right in front of a house but being so far away from it. These people are putting a lot of distance between themselves and the common folk. Stash that there real quick. No more glass, now we can get some more exercise walking up another hill, yay! What up, Magpie? You're mighty look green. Well, folks, I got to say so far this has been kind of a waste of time. I'm hoping somewhere through here I find just one or two bins that are popping. And then going forward, I only have to visit those. This looks like it qualifies. Nice and quiet. Blessings. There's this. And that. And that.
and all these bougie houses, it makes me think this would be a great place to go trick-or-treating with Wub, because maybe they give out tons of candy. But the funny thing is, wow, monogrammed front gate. The funny thing is, I kind of noticed this when we were doing the bigger and better, when we tried rich people's neighborhoods. Check it out, words of wisdom. Let me just finish my thought when we get back to the car. Glass is getting heavy. A lot of helium. Just whimsical star farts. All right, this is going off. We'll talk when I get... All right, we're back. Now this is what I'm talking about. It works fine. I don't know, I guess we'll both find out. That's okay, I'd say. Moving on. Alright, I got the glass and we're on to the next area. This is going fine, just fine. I like splitting them up and having a bunch of little areas. Sometimes it's a little more work, a little more running around, but it's also diversification with redundancy. So I find that, in my experience, generosity tends to follow austerity. So if you looked at austerity and affluence, I'm talking about poor and rich, basically. Generosity tends to decrease as you get to the more affluent individuals, and I think that kind of goes with how they end up being affluent in the first place. With the exception of the total extremes, because at the absolute extremes you're going to end up with people who are really desperate over here, and people who have recognized they've got more than they need, and they are a bit of a philanthropist at that point. And the only reason I think of things that way is because of my personal experience with the bigger and better, where we went to rich people's houses and none of them had any time at all for us, which was weird because we're nice people. And my ever-increasing experience hanging out with less financially accomplished people, what some individuals refer to as the homeless, not all of whom do not have a place to sleep. The point I'm trying to make is I was surprised to discover how much of a sharing community exists there. Just hanging out in the alley, down the street. I've seen it time and time again. One person does really well, and they're like, all right, well, I'll buy the beer and smokes today. And, you know, the next day, they don't do that well, but they know it'll be fine because they're going to hang out with the squad, and somebody did really well. And I guess this only works when you're talking about the necessities of life. And yes, for some people, beer and smokes are a necessity of life. There we are. Uh-oh. The thing is empty. That's all right, though. Okay, so it turns out, while I was busy checking out a new area, the recycling truck was busy picking up all of the recycling in this apartment area. So I got those two little bags. Those are just out of the garbage. So since that comes out of the garbage, you know, and not the recycling bin, that's pretty good. But I'll have to be here a lot earlier next week. Anyway, one more spot. All right, now this is not a roadside pick, but I found, for me, the most efficient way is to park a ways back there, walk all the way up, go through this alley, and then do a little loopy, zigzaggy maneuver that lands me back in my car when I'm done. Okay, so it turns out Bailey's. It does go bad. Okay, so this camera died. which was lame because just as I was complaining about how this neighborhood sometimes seems like it's got somebody else that comes through, I found a bunch of goodies which I separated. These things, like wall hanging candle sconces, I was going to try and sell them, but I realized they're missing the glass, so forget it. A fancy looking humidifier, a fancy looking Scentsy-like thingy, a round to it, which is going right back in the trash, and these brand new insoles, which might be crap, we'll find out, and a laptop. Which is all fine and dandy, but none of that is guaranteed today money. Then I found this. These boxes of wine, it's 25 cents a piece. I thought that was pretty good, but then one more treasure leapt out at me. In fact, a whole bag of them. Not that bad, if you ask me. This is a laptop, it looks pretty sweet. It's got the battery, it's got the charger, all the pins look good. It's not terribly scratched up, and the screen isn't broken, but the keyboard is fricked. At least the spacebar. I think this is why weirdos text you with ... on absolutely everything, even though it doesn't belong. Because somebody did this to their laptop. I'm not sure if it's worth the effort. It's a Windows 7 machine with an i3, so that's fine, but it's not that good. So it's not like something I could sell right now. I might end up just using it for parts, but it does have a hard drive in it. Whoop. It has got the hard drive though. So if nothing else, I found a scrap laptop. Or a scrap top, if you will. But you don't have to, because that joke was terrible. Definitely need to get an earlier start next week if I'm gonna get to the second apartment before... Okay, I've been staying up late playing Octopath Traveler. I don't know if any of you have played it, but it's very well designed. Much better designed than my time management. I think we did all right still. We got a couple things to throw in Kijiji, made our money today. Tomorrow, definitely getting up early, because tomorrow's a big day. So, thanks for hanging out. I hope whatever you want to do yourselves today, you left it better than you... Okay, so because yesterday went so well, I decided I'd check out the Starbucks on my way home, and turns out they actually have a bin, a specific bin that they put all the recycling in, and it had a lock on it. So I fiddled with it for a bit and tried to figure it out, and it didn't work. And there was actually a bottle picker right next, like in the parking lot. I just kind of asked him jokingly, like, I can't figure out the code. Do you know what it is? And he says, yep. I'm like, what? I'm like, well. So we're chatting, and obviously I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna ask him to share that code with me. And I go to my car for something, and he's like, oh, you drive? I'm like, yeah, I drive. I'm like, well, I've got a bunch of scrap metal I need to bring in, so can I get a ride? So I told him, well, I'll give you a ride if you give me that code. So I'm like, sure, that sounds good, but to be totally honest, I'm not convinced he knows it just because he says he knows it. Whoops. So I tell him, prove it. Go open that bin. He says, okay. And he goes and opens the bin. I'm like, wow. So now I've got like a dolly and a bike thing and just a bunch of stuff that was really cumbersome for him to haul around. He's gonna be along here any minute, and we'll both cash out and then go on a scrap run, I guess. Let's see how this afternoon turns out. He said he needed to get his scrap ready so we could bring it in. Turns out get it ready means stripping like 200 feet of 5 strands of copper wire with the heavy metal jacket around the outside. So I helped him for a little bit, but then I told him, like, this is not the job that I signed up for, and I'm gonna go, but I'll come back here at 4 o'clock and we'll see where you're at, and we'll bring in whatever you've got at that point. And I kind of knew there was no way he was going to get all that stuff stripped by hand with a razor blade and some other tools, but mostly a razor blade, by 4 o'clock. So I came back here, I took care of some stuff, and then grabbed
The handful of like decent strands of really thick, heavy, solid core copper wire that I had sitting here, and I went back there to meet up with him at 4 with a plan. Hey, what up?
What's up?
Yo, I'm vlogging. What's up with you? You need some?
That was the sketchiest thing I've ever had to do in my life.
That was the sketchiest thing.
Okay, maybe like not the sketchiest thing, but it was pretty close.
I've done some sketchy things. You've done sketchy things. Whatever. He's fine. So I went back there and was not surprised to find that he had only managed to strip like a bit of a bucket and still had a lot left. And he figured we were just gonna... So I told him, here, I brought this fistful of other stuff that is totally worth stripping and kind of better than the stuff that he had there anyway. And I will trade you this for the code for the locks that we were talking about. And then you've got my number. Just like finish this, take however long it takes, and then give me a call and I'll help you bring it in when you've got it done. I have no idea when he's going to get it done. We're talking like probably 3 more hours work sitting there, but it doesn't matter. I'll give him a lift. Point is, I got the code. And I went and checked, and it works. So, that was a big chunk of time, and that's not what I planned on doing today. But, successful keeper. Booyah. Anyway, what was that thing that oh yeah. Leave it better than you found it. Keep doing the thing.